be okay with being whack. Be okay, because when we started what we were good at, we were horrible. And the thought of, well, I'm already good, like that didn't even exist yet.
Very quickly, before we start, I want to say a big thank you to One of 100 who are bringing us today's show. We have got you guys a special discount. Go to weare100.co.uk and at checkout, use the code STANS15 for 15% off your total order. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Stance Elements. I'm ChazB. I am your host, and I am so excited for this one. I'm with Samo from the X Fiends crew from the USA. Bro, it's really good to see you again. How's things?
Yo, man, everything's awesome, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just out here trying to do the do, or doing the do, and making things better, making things better, making things happen. That's
For
it, man.
sure, because you've been really active within the commercial world. We've known you as a b-boy for the longest of time, but you've done your work within the commercial side of things as well. And one thing I want to know is, like, what encouraged you to move over to that side?
So funny enough, it was b-boys that actually encouraged me to move over to the side.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. Like, not many people know. Like, in my early 20s, while my breaking career was actually like going up, I was signed to an agency at the time, and I wasn't necessarily very encouraged to want to really put work in the commercial industry. And then finally, when I got a chance to do Battle of the Year, I was surrounded by b-boys who were already like really big in the industry and had pretty much their foot in. They had their experience in many films and TV shows and whatnot. And I was in LA filming for like about 3 months. And during my time here, some of the b-boys who were already prominent in the commercial scene were like, yo, bro, you need to move out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to move out here, and you could get a lot of work. And I was like, word? They're like, yeah, man. So, I took the advice, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it was just another opportunity to expand. I was already traveling, I was already battling, I was already like winning competitions and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, like, what do I have to lose by going into a new world and just expanding my repertoire? You know what I'm saying? Instead of pushing it away like I had been doing years prior. And not for nothing, it's people that I respected their dance, and I respected the things that they were doing, just not only in the battle scene, and I respected the work that they were doing in Hollywood as well. So I was like, okay, let me take this into consideration, and let me put some work in. And I put some work in for like about 4 years. I mean, granted, I was already doing the film, so I already have my foot in. However, I decided to put more work in, and the way I went about it differently is, let me get this choreography stuff on Smash, because then in that sense, like, I'd be able to work way more than just as a b-boy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. But the thing that sort of might confuse a lot of people that are hearing this is, what is the attraction? What would make you want to completely uproot and move out there?
Again, man, for me, it was just more opportunity. I'm not going to push away an opportunity for growth. I think that's like, yeah, man, for me, it's all growth, bro. It's all growth. I was always looking for opportunities to grow. And for me to push something like that away would be, again, just stunting myself. You know, I'd keep myself complacent, in a realm that I was already very familiar with. And it's like, well, I wanna be better, and still be myself as well. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just all growth, bro. Like, I was always super open to that. And there was many people that were in this space that I admired, that I was like, yo, why would I stop myself from, getting that as well? And that's the key. It's as well, not this instead of the other and push the rest, what I had already been doing away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, bro. And I think you touch upon an important point where it's one thing and the other, not one or the other.
Right.
And where do you see the fine line between what you've known within the breaking scene for so long and the commercial world? Like, how do you find like a balance and an appreciation for them both?
Well, for me, it's like they're two very completely different things, right? Like, for example, throughout my time in the breaking world, right? Or I would rather say in like just the freestyle world, because I was competing as like a house dancer and I was doing like open style events as well. So, I'd like to throw myself in that pool as well. Um, for me, I at the time when those things just started happening and flourishing, I looked at them as opportunities, right? And over time, they became community based things. Like I wanted to be there, but the opportunity, it's almost like you first step into something, it becomes an opportunity. Then it becomes regular. It just becomes normal. Right. So then at the time where I started growing in just the freestyle world along with breaking, um, I started realizing like, okay, this is almost time of leisure for me instead of it being opportunity now, right? So I loved it and it was fun and I enjoyed it. However, then it was time to find opportunity for me to be able to gain something in another space. So the balance pretty much was, okay, I spend my time here for enjoyment and for me to be around a community of people that I love and I've been around for the past set amount of years, and this is a space for me to sharpen myself up and be able to stay sharp, right? And then balancing going over to the new space of opportunity was for me to be able to make a certain set of income, right? You be able to utilize my talent and be able to expand the way I utilize my talent opposed to using it in one particular way. So that's kind of like how I found like I was able to balance it out because I was testing myself in a whole different way in this realm, using the gift that I got from the freestyle community and the breaking community and whatnot.
And is that what you encourage anybody to do if they want to make that move over to the commercial side of things? It does seem like the more dancers that come from the background that you have, they seem to have an advantage over others that are only working for those types of opportunities.
Look, man, for me, uh, I just feel that dancers just need to be very clear on what it is that they're looking for when they do step into like this round, right? For me, like I wanted to be able to, okay, I stepped in, I said, okay, I want to be able to do movies. I want to be able to work with specific choreographers and be able to work with specific artists. Like I knew that ahead of time, right? And so for me to be able to achieve those things was fairly easy because I already knew the path that I was already, that I was already like headed towards. Right now, you know, when you don't really walk in with that type of idea and those type of that type of path already laid out for you, mentally, then you're gonna be just swimming in the pool, not really understanding or knowing like where the fuck am I headed? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really important, man. And I find in a lot of ways, like the mentality is, well, I just want to work, and I'm like, well, that's possible, but then you could also be working in rooms and spaces that you don't really want to be in, you know. And I was just pretty clear on what it is that I wanted to do, and everything happened.
And when it comes to the work ethic and the hours of effort and, you know, like you say, you're making yourself available for certain opportunities. What would you say is the standard that that any that any dancer should aspire towards if they want to see any sort of success within your
Uh,
realm?
so, and hold on. So, in my realm, you mean in the commercial world?
Yes.
Okay. So, for me, I already knew what the standard was based off of the people that I admired the most, right? So looking at them, I realized, okay, if I want to be good and I want to be able to do the things that these people are doing, or let's just say to the level that these to the level of work that these people are like getting and whatnot, right? I needed to have specific things, you know, and I needed to throw my ego out the window because I knew that I was really good at one particular thing, and I was already coming in with you know, bringing something to the table, right? However, there was a whole nother side of of this coin that I literally was not good at all, you know, and I had to be willing to say, okay, I know I'm really good at this already. Now let me work on the shit that I'm horrible at, you know, and get to a standard that is, you know, respectable, you know, so that when people look at me, they say, okay, he doesn't just have, you know, this piece of the pie, he has a whole package. You know what I'm saying? And I want it to be a whole package rather than, you know, just very what they would call a specialty, right? I never wanted to walk into a room and say, "Oh, yeah, we're looking for b-boys, and those are the only spaces that I was able to fit in." Right? I wanted to know that, okay, well, we could hire him, and whether he has to break or not. And I think that's one of the you know, when I started realizing like, yo, I'm starting to get booked, and I don't even have to break at all. This is different, you know. That like I pat myself in the back in that moment too, because I was like, yo, this is, you know, for somebody that came into this world and that's all I knew how to do, you know what I'm saying, and just freestyle and just break, you know, for me to get to a space where they don't even need that part of my expertise anymore. Yo, I know I've been working hard, and I made it somewhat to a certain level, you know what I'm saying.
And then how would you encourage people to keep such an open mind like that? Because it does seem like a lot of unlearning that you're sharing there.
Again, man, it's the ego, bro. Throw that shit out the window. Throw, you know what I'm saying? And like that's I have to be as blunt as possible with it, because that's really it. Be okay with being whack, you know? Be okay, because when we started what we were good at, we were horrible, you know, and the thought of, well, I'm already good, like that didn't even exist yet. You know what I'm saying? So you're stepping into a whole nother world where, quite frankly, there's people that do, and there's a lot of people that literally do not care how many battles you've won. They do not care what cities you travel to, who you battled in the cipher. Like, they do not care about that. What can you do for us in this space? You know, and in some ways, what you bring to the table coming from that world is amazing. And then in some cases, again, people don't care, you know. And you just got to be just open-minded and humble, and just know that there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable moments, you know, and that's totally okay. There's going to be a lot of no's. There's going to be a lot of people who don't really think you're that talented. Yo, one of the biggest things that I had to realize is, yo, what I bring to the table is not for everybody. And yo, that's totally okay. That's totally okay.
So you mentioned some of the obstacles that someone would face if they were narrow-minded in their mentality as they approach that space. Are there any other obstacles that someone would need to be aware of if they're going into the commercial world for the first time?
Hmm. I would say be very weary of um you know, the people that you come across, and I mean, I guess this is also something that you know, you learn in the open style, freestyle, or breaking community, is like, yo, not everybody's gonna fuck with you, and you're not gonna fuck with everybody, you know, and that's okay. Just watch your energy when you get into the room, you know, because everything is predicated on how you show up, and you know, what type of energy that you bring in, you know, like people are more worried about people bringing in negative energy than they are about like the positive energy or whatever the case may be. Like, let's say, for example, like I walk into the room and I'm cool, but a lot of times I'm quiet and I'm like pretty chill and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like, and um as long as it's not negative, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, can he get the job done? Sure. You know, can he walk in here and turn his ego off whenever he needs to? However, when the camera's on, or you know, when the lights are on and we're on stage or whatever, the ego is all the way up, because that's where it serves me, right? But when we're in the room, just like kind of kicking it with people, it's like, yo, it's okay to be friendly, bro. You know, it's not about like there's competition. Well, the competitions are already over because you're already in the room, right? That's the way I look at it. You know, turn that competition, you know, ego on when you're in the audition room or something like that, right? You know, because that's where it serves you. But once you're already in there, like, yo, it's okay to let all that, you know, simmer all of that down, because again, it's like not gonna serve us everywhere.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know
man.
all that. Like, that's
Yo,
amazing, bro.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, and it takes a lot of people to learn all that stuff too, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it is a community-based thing, man. Like it is a community here too, you know, depending on how you go about it. It's like, yo, the energy that you have, like, let's say in like the workspace, right? Again, this is after you already booked the job and stuff like that. There's a lot of people looking at you, right? And then at the same time, those people could refer you to other things, you know, because they're also connected to different people and whatnot too. So it's almost like, you know, it's not like literally this way. However, you can look at it this way. It's almost like, yo, you're in a space and you're like solo dolo, and like there's also crews in this community too, or in what they would really call them are camps, right? And so that, like, there's choreographers and whatnot that already have like their circle of people that they like really like, you know, rocking with. However, it doesn't mean that they're not always looking for new people to add into the camp or quote unquote crew, right? So you can belong to many crews or camps, right, and not feel like, you know, you're backstabbing another or whatever the case may be. It's like, no, you want to be a part of as many camps as possible, because again, that just it's just another way of, you know, for me it was a way to look at how other camps work and see what it is that I can take from these camps in terms of like things that I could put in my repertoire or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And the last thing I want to ask you, when are we gonna see you in some one-on-ones again? When are we gonna see you in some
Yo,
one-on-ones again? Like, cause you have an infectious energy when you dance, and it's missed. So I just had to ask you that, man.
look, man, it's interesting. Like battling is something that I always think about. Like I always think about it. I always like, you know, I actually fight the urge to like be part of, be a participant in the scene, right? And the reason I say that is because, you know, when you're too saturated, you know, when you show face a little too often, it's almost like, you know, you don't give the opportunity, you don't give the opportunity to be missed. You know what I'm saying? So I like to like give big gaps in between the times where I jump in the scene and whatnot. Well, not so necessarily jump in the scene, but more so just participate, you know, in the scene. And you know, I find that it serves me more because it also gives me the opportunity to miss it too. You know, like for a long time, man, I just wasn't inspired anymore. You know, and I found my niche, and I in a sense of like what I was bringing to the table, and also what what I was super inspired by. And I don't see that a lot nowadays. You know, what I'm inspired by, I don't really see that much. And when I do, you know, I like to just like fill my tank up, you know, so to speak, before I go to, before I head back in, opposed to, you know, walking into, you know, a battle or whatever with like a quarter tank. Like it doesn't serve me, and I'd rather come in with a full tank than not. So in terms of like when you're gonna see me again in a one-on-one, I don't know. It might be soon, it might be a little later, you know. However, those days are not over, man. Like I definitely, you know, I think about it often, and uh it's just not priority right now. But I will be back in the scene for sure.
That's amazing, man. Well, look, it's been amazing to have you here. Thank you so much. And I
For
really hope
sure.
to see you soon, bro.
Absolutely, brother. Appreciate you, Chaz.